there, folks, and welcome back to another Pinal Prep Spotlight brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installations. We are officially in February frenzy, as this month has been coined for our high school sports here in Arizona. And for us right now, we're kind of in limbo. The regular season is starting to wrap up for 3A basketball. Meanwhile, all of our other conferences have already wrapped up, so we're kind of going to give you guys our predictions of what to expect in the early games next season. Tuesday and Wednesday are the first round for the 3A state tournament in basketball. Unlike the other conferences, they don't have a play-in round. They include the quote-unquote play-in round that the other conferences have as their first round. So a couple of our teams are likely going to get that first round bye. They won't play until later on in the week, so we're not going to talk about them because we will be talking about them next week. I know a lot is going on. We're trying to figure it out, but bear with us and let's see how this goes. So we're going to be talking about our teams that are kind of in the bubble, and most likely will play in that first round of 3A basketball. Looking at the boys, I think Coolidge is currently ranked number 8. Big question is, can they remain the top 8 spot, bypass that first round, or will they fall? It all depends pretty much on how the other teams do. Because, hey, we don't know how these power rankings work. Nobody does. So, talking about Coolidge boys basketball, David, you got to see them last week. A very exciting game. What did you see from the Bears?
Yeah, definitely. The Coolidge Bears came out with just a lot of physicality, and they went up against an ALA Ironwood team that has been arguably one of the best basketball teams in Pinal County. And it really is some interesting implications here with that game. They were able to upset them and get the win, and now we have a question of, could ALA Ironwood possibly looking at a first round game instead of bypassing or bypassing that first round and getting a bye. So these two teams could be very well implicated. I think it's more likely that ALA does get that bye, but Coolidge may have to fight their way through that first round. And if so, I still like their chances. I think they're a really solid team. They found a really good 1-2 punch with Jaquan Jordan and Torrey Golston. Jaquan Jordan is an absolute beast. He just is a rebounding machine. He pulled down multiple rebounds. I think he had double-digit rebounds in their last game against ALA Ironwood. He's a great scorer. They're a great physical team, and they play a classic style of Coolidge basketball. Get to the rim, be physical, play really hard-nosed defense, and I think that's going to lead them to a possible deep playoff run if they're able to get that lucky. I wouldn't say this is one of the stronger teams that we've seen in recent years from Coolidge. We've definitely seen some stronger ones, last year being one of them, but then especially 2 years ago when they made it all the way to the state championship. So I think Coolidge has a chance, and I think a big emphasis for them is their younger talent. They've had a lot of sophomores on this team that they found kind of out of the blue and out of the woodwork that have really kind of shown what they can do, and they can be cornerstones, because this is a team that lost a lot of guys, especially last year with graduations and transfers. So this is a Coolidge team that is motivated, and I think they're going to do a really good job. And even if, it doesn't end how they want, I think this is a great experience for them to realize what they need to do in order to get back to that level and get back to that state championship they're still looking for.
So, looking at Coolidge as of right now when we're shooting this video, they still have 2 games left. On Wednesday, they are playing Thatcher, and then they wrap up on Thursday against American Leadership Academy Anthem South. I don't see either of these 2 teams causing Coolidge any trouble, so like I mentioned, it's going to depend on the rest of the conference, whether they can secure that top 8 spot or move down. David mentioned ALA Ironwood. Following the loss against Coolidge, they just barely slipped. They went down to number 6. I don't see anything changing for them, so they will secure that first round bye, in my opinion, and we will be talking more in depth about them next week when we talk about the second round. Moving on to Florence, they are number 16, and big question here is if they can hold that number 16 spot. If they can hold that number 16 spot, then they will be at home for that first round. If they drop just anywhere, they will be on the road. David, what can you say about this Gophers team?
I think this Gophers team is still recovering from, like a lot of teams, losing a lot of guys that they had last year. Last year was probably a stronger team in the sense of their talent, but now with some seniors gone, some guys have had to step up. I like the play that Anthony Burdine has brought to this team. He's definitely filled in a bigger role for them so far this year. He's done a really good job for them. And David Silvas is just a really solid coach. He is going to put his guys in positions to succeed and put his guys in the areas they need in order to win games. I think they can hold on as much as they can. I think it might just be a little bit of uphill sledding. It's going to have to see how things shake out, but I really like this Florence team, and I hope for the best for them. I think they have a good job here, but it just comes down to how the brackets shake up. It's like you said, we don't know how it works. We don't know anything that how it could all play out. So the mindset for Florence right now to finish out the season is just win, continue to win, and hope for the best, I think.
So, going off of what David said, I think we're kind of going with, they're going to have to go with the best because Florence's final game of the regular season is against Chandler Valley Christian. So far, many of our teams in the 3A conference have played against Valley Christian. Nobody has beat them. I think the closest one was ALA Ironwood in their second game, and they lost by 13 points. Coolidge just played them earlier this week. They lost by 15. So it's an uphill battle, like David mentioned. A big reason for Florence's success this year is a junior duo in Logan Stenson and Adrian. I am apologizing for messing up your name. Taufa Ausu. I'm sorry. These two guys have been the motor that makes this Gophers team run. Both of them are averaging double figures. Adrian is leading the way with 12.4 points per game. Logan is shooting 61% from the field. If it comes down to a final game-winning basket, look for Stenson to take that shot. And like David mentioned, this Gophers team is kind of going to see an uphill battle wherever they do. And moving on to our other team, our bubble team here is the Santan Foothills boys. They are currently number 24. Will they make it? Will they not make it? That's the big question here. And David, you've seen the SaberCats team quite a bit. What can you say about them?
Yeah, it's another young team that is looking for guys that are going to continue to fill those roles that they've had, having to fill after guys have been gone. I think they've done a really good job so far. They're an under the radar team, and I don't think they get enough of their flowers. They are a really well coached team. They do what they need to do. They have a lot of young guys that are filling in some pretty big roles that are showing why they deserve it, and it's going to set them up for future success. I don't know what could be done, what more could be done for them to possibly land a playoff spot. I think it's going to be a little bit tough for them to try and squeak in there. It really depends on their final schedule and how they really pin down here in this last couple games. So I do like this team. I think it might just be a little bit tough for them to squeak in a spot, but I expect a lot of great things for them in the future, and I think they're going to be set up for us talking about them more regularly from here on out.
Looking at their last two games, it's not easy. They're going up against Tucson Palo Verde on Wednesday. They are a top 20 team, and then they're closing things out against the top 3 ranked team in Gilbert Christian. So it's going to be very difficult for Santan Foothills to just simply try to secure a top 24 spot here. Looking at the girls' side, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're going to have anybody playing in that first round. Florence is our closest team. They are currently ranked number 28. Like the boys, they only have one game left. It's against Valley Christian, another tough school, also on the girls' side. And Coolidge. Coolidge is one team I am super excited to talk about, but we will have to wait until next week because they are likely going to secure a top 8 spot. They've been ranked around 5-6 the whole season. I don't see that changing for them. So, with that, be sure to check out our show next week. And as always, check out Pinal Central for all of your local sports coverage.